Today on episode 166 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, our AFC Preview, a new over-under, and the TCF Top 3 of Gatorade Flavors. Let's roll. Hello and welcome back. This is episode 166 of Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. You can find us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like for all of our content in video form to see all of our smiling, lovely faces. Go to YouTube. Type in Typical Chicago Fans, hit the red subscribe button. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get them, we're there. Subscribe, rate, and review where you can. You can find me on Twitter at BootyTCF and Zach at ZLiliaTCF. We will have Maddie joining the show here shortly, and he is at schools_01. Zach, not really feeling like summer days here lately, man. It's been feeling like middle October, and I got to be honest with you, man. I am not upset about it.
Yeah, that's about to change, though. I think it's supposed to be like 95 or 96 on Sunday, and then throughout next week, it's supposed to be very hot. So it will change, but it has probably been like the coolest August of all time with the most rain.
Oh, that's for sure. And like you said, I think I saw 97 for Tuesday. So yeah, back into the furnace there. But I don't know, man. I could get used to this. It's got me very much ready for. I'm not one to wish the summer away and say summer's over, but it's got me feeling like a nice crisp Saturday or Sunday in the fall. You know, crack the windows open for a little bit, but can't keep them open too long because then it's going to get too cold. So I'm all about this. But let's go ahead and jump into things. As always, we have sinkers and floaters. My sinker is kind of broad. It's just kind of like wild news stories, I guess is just the way of putting it. All right. So we got the wildfires in Hawaii, which terrible. I mean, some of the videos coming out of there, people in the ocean while the shore is on fire, natural disaster like that, just insane stuff. And then something we don't see very often, unfortunately, we see the natural disasters, quite a bit, but a coup d'etat was taking place in the country of Niger in West Central Africa last week. The military took over the government. Those are things you read about in the history books. You don't see a whole lot of coups taking place, and there's one going on in Niger, and it's just wild stuff. You feel for the people that are involved there because, for the vast majority of people, it shouldn't affect them, and it's going to. So just crazy stuff going on in the world, I guess, was the best way I could summarize my sinkers this week.
That's awful.
Yeah, bad stuff. And it doesn't seem, the wildfires are obviously, they're a wildfire and they're awful. And, I think the death toll is over 100. And then, a coup usually leaves, they're known as bloody coups most of the time for a reason, unfortunately. So just wild, scary stuff that we hope, doesn't affect as many people as it could.
Yeah, let's hope. My sinker is golf, which I'm sort of kidding, but this game will chew you up and spit you out. It is just, I realized here, I play all right, whatever, but sometimes you go out there and you're like, I just got done with work and I rush to the golf course and your first shot goes way left. Like, what am I doing here? I mean, I love golf and I golf all the time, but it's like you sit out there sometimes and you're like, man, this is awesome, but man, is it frustrating sometimes.
It is like the most frustrating yet rewarding game.
Oh yeah. One shot is like, oh man, that was a horrible one to the left. And then if you hit the ball perfectly out of there, your mood changes like in 2 seconds.
Yeah, we had one thinking about, the golf season, I played my worst golf in the biggest tournament in the area. And since then I've, been pretty solid. It's like, why couldn't I have done what I'm doing now in a tournament where it matters, a month ago? And it's just like, we've talked about, we played in the Ivy Open, and I think I went 2 full holes without opening my mouth because I was so frustrated. And then I turn it on the back nine, and I'm, back to my chipper, dumb self. But it's such a light switch of a game. It's for sure. And unfortunately, our time on the golf course is winding down. I hate to have to add that in. And we were out there playing till like 8:45 a month ago. So
yeah, that stinks.
Yeah, must be nice for those people that live in places that they can play year round, but we don't know what that's like.
Yeah, it'd be awesome, but that would be so awesome.
It would be, but I also feel like sometimes it's nice to take a little break from something.
Yeah,
especially when you're struggling on the golf course,
Yeah, golfing year round would be wild.
Yes, it would. I agree. My floater, on the other hand, is something I've been meaning to bring up for like the last month. We kind of got into a heated debate on the MLS, right? Okay, so I remembered I had found these statistics, and I want to bring them up. And I want to start this by saying that Lionel Messi, and obviously is very biased in this because he is now a part owner of Inter Miami. But he was quoted today saying that he can see the MLS on par with top European leagues in the future. So obviously they have a long way to go to get anywhere near that, but obviously bringing stars like Messi over are going to help that. So having the best soccer player in the world on my side is good. But I want to read this tweet, and unfortunately I screenshotted it, but I didn't screenshot who it was from. And this was back when Messi got introduced at Inter Miami. So I want to read this tweet. It says, Lionel Messi's MLS introduction is surreal to watch, and it feels much different than it did when David Beckham arrived in 2007. That's because the league is an entirely different position. In 2007, the MLS annual TV deal was worth $8 million. Their deal now is $250 million. The MLS average attendance in 2007 was 15,000. They are now in 2023, they average around 21,000. In 2007, the average franchise value was 37 million. The average franchise value now is 579 million. And then I also wanted to bring up, because the argument we got in was, how is it comparable to the NHL? So those statistics I just read, I didn't find the annual TV deal for the NHL, but what I did pull up was the average attendance for NHL games. And the average attendance at the NHL in the 2022-23 season was 17,000, which is 4,000 less than the MLS. And the NHL does win in the category of team evaluation. The MLS evaluation per team averages 579 million, and it appears that the average for an NHL team is 1 billion. So quite a bit substantial there. But like, if you're an MLS fan, if you're a soccer fan, you got to be feeling good about that. And it does make me feel a little bit better about my take that I think that in the next 10 years that the MLS could be just as big, if not bigger, than the NHL.
The only one thing I would say to the attendance is that they do play in huge arenas.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that that's much of a difference, but they do play some places like Seattle. They can hold probably 60,000.
Yeah. And I think, like, I know the Fire play at Soldier Field, and I think they tarp the top level off. And I want to say Seattle does too, but they do have the ability to even play in an NFL stadium, gives them that. But to have a 40% increase in 16 years, I mean, you got to feel good if you're an MLS owner or a big fan of the MLS, because that's very much trending in the right direction. And the TV deal is huge.
David Beckham is a big reason why it's growing, because Inter Miami, he owns the team. I think he owns the team.
No, he owns one of the LA teams. Messi is part owner of the Miami team.
So David Beckham's just there for the fun of it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he had something to do with the team.
He either owns the LA Galaxy or the LAFC. I'll look that up. I thought that's what the case, because that's when he came over. It was kind of the same deal that Messi had. They were going to make him like part owner.
I was just confused. He seems like he's cheering very much for Messi. So
I will look up. I'm not sure.
But either way, it's just, that's cool. But my thing is, how did they get Lionel Messi literally right before the playoffs.
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
mean,
Yeah,
we couldn't have waited till the playoffs were over with.
yeah, I agree because he's literally
I'd
carrying
be a little
them.
salty if I was.
You were right, Zach. In 2014, he announced that he has exercised his option to buy an MLS expansion team. I did not realize that.
I just thought it had to be because I wouldn't think he would cheer that hard for him if it was like a rival team.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But like, I think bringing and like it obviously it's very different now than with Messi because like Beckham came here to retire, right? He came here for almost like a cash grab. Where Messi is still, I mean, he's scored. I think it's like 8 goals in 7 games or 9 goals in 7 games or something like
The
that.
best thing I saw though was it was like it's the 91st minute and Messi is still running up and down playing defense. It's like, dude, he's played soccer for how long?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's probably in good shape.
right. But he could easily come in here for a paycheck. Like, and I think
No, I know, but it's those guys. That's all they do is play soccer. So he's gonna be in good shape.
Yeah, I think one of the guys that went to Saudi Arabia, not one of the big name guys. I know Neymar is going to Saudi Arabia, but one of the guys that got plucked off of a European team to go play in Saudi Arabia was quoted and said, "We're literally coming here for money, not for passion of the game or anything like that." So I think
When you pay that much money for these soccer players, like it's so hard to go out there and play because they're not playing against like the best players.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I mean, what is Neymar's deal like? 500
You
million.
can't even watch
now?
the games.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the MLS I think has done a really good job. I don't know if it's ever going to get to a point where it's on par with the European leagues like Messi suggests, but I definitely think it could be in the running to, be just as big, if not bigger than the NHL in 10, 20 years. I think they're doing it the right way. Here's my only suggestion to the MLS. I know you're watching this. Get rid of ties. We hate ties.
Yeah, that's awful.
Look what the NHL did after the 05 lockout. I know it's very circumstantial evidence, but I'm telling you, I started watching hockey a lot more when they got rid of ties.
Or just go straight to like a shootout.
It's not that hard.
You don't have to do the overtime. You can just go right to it.
I agree. Do it just like the NHL does. Let's move on with it. But yeah, those are my statistics on the MLS. I've been meaning.
Yeah, that's the worst thing about soccer is you watch 90 minutes and it could be tied and just be done. It's like that's not what I want to see.
Brutal.
But at least in the playoffs, someone has to win. So that's nice.
And I've always said that like I enjoy watching soccer for like the World Cup and like games that like. For me, like those games, even if those early games end in a tie, like they, come down to a lot more immediate, ramifications. And then you get into the knockout games and there has to be a winner. You're going to see somebody win. Those are, I think it's a very easy fix.
Yeah. My floater is weddings. I'm going to one, tomorrow, which will be today. The podcast comes out. Just fun seeing people you haven't seen in a long time. Do a little dancing, do a little drinking, so it'll be fun. But
to Nick and Brooke, congratulations, guys.
Mm-hmm. But in general, weddings are just so much fun.
I will say this: I know I'm 4 years older than you, and I love weddings. I really do. My issue lately has been people planning Saturday weddings during football season, and then I look like the asshole for watching the Florida.
That's fine, though. That's fine, though.
I feel bad.
You're allowed to watch the game, so no big deal.
And it doesn't take me away. I used to be much more like, oh, get on the dance floor and boogie around. I've become much more of the socializing. I like to take my phone while I got the game on, go around and socialize while I got the game on, a couple feet away.
See, the best thing about that is if you have the game on, then some other person wants to watch, and then somebody else wants to watch, and then you're the guy who has the phone, and you're just like the guy. You're like the best.
Yep, that's shout out to Mike.
Why is everyone hanging around Chance?
the last wedding I went to, me and Mike Haggerty sat around my phone and watched it. We just could, had a conversation for hours while watching. I think it was like a Florida Georgia game or something like that. So that is a kind of a next level step in the wedding game, but should be a good time for you there, big guy. You'll have and it's in Lake Geneva.
Oh yeah, fancy.
So, yeah, beautiful place. That's where we went. Me and some buddies went up in golf last year. So you'll enjoy it. You will most certainly enjoy it. Maybe take a putter with you in case you can check out one of the practice greens up there.
Yeah, I think that's the last thing I need to be doing.
I don't know. You said if you're playing bad, maybe you do need some work.
Yeah, not on like horribly hard greens.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's go ahead and jump into the TCF Sports Minute. We got to start off with the Cubbies, the Crosstown Classic champions. Take 3 out of 4 and 1 out of 2 this week from the White Sox. They're sitting at 62 and 58 as we speak. They're 2.5 games out of the NL Central, but are currently 3rd in the wild card. Incredible walk-off last night. I wish Maddie was on here. I got to remember to ask him about the double doink story he chirped me on Twitter about, but I woke the boy up last night on accident when Morels hit that ball out. But man, that is exactly what
before he got around to second base.
Yeah, that is exactly what Morel needed, and that's exactly what the Cubs needed because
it went from
on Monday or Tuesday.
It went from losing 2 games to the White Sox at Wrigley, which has sucked, to a good win. And the Brewers lost. So yeah. I'm actually watching the Brewers game right now. They are playing the Dodgers.
Trying not to get.
Yeah, hopefully they do.
Yes. But still a lot of work to do. You can't just be content on, August 17th that you're in the wild card.
And they don't have the hardest schedule coming up either.
Yeah. Yeah, and the big news coming out today is Marcus Stroman is still kind of got a question mark around him.
Well, something with his ribs.
Yeah, I think he's got like torn cartilage or broken cartilage in his rib cage or something. I'll say this, at this point, I don't want the Cubs to re-sign Marcus Stroman. I don't.
Well, yeah, it just depends on what he wants.
Yeah, that's fair. But it also, the not talking to the media stuff and, being, let's be honest, since the All-Star break, he's been terrible, and he's not going to go for cheap.
It seems like that happens at the end of most of the seasons.
Exactly. So this is not something new. This happened in Toronto. This happened in New York. This is starting to become a pattern. Now, obviously, do I hope he gets better in the next 10 days and comes out and is lights out in September? Absolutely. And if he is, then sure. Let's talk, an extension or, a contract when it comes to free agency, but also he's 32 years old. Let's not go crazy here. So I don't really know where I sit on that. I did see they signed a guy and sent him to AAA to give him kind of an audition, but you know what? You need to just keep doing what you're doing. And it's worked lately, and you got to stay hot because I do worry right now with 6 weeks left of the season. It does worry me a little that this team peaked too early.
Yeah. Question. Do you think that you will see Pete Crow Armstrong at Wrigley Field before the year is over with?
Yeah. I think so. I do. I don't know what the roster expands to anymore. I know they made some changes on that a couple years ago, but I want to say the Iowa Cubs season is over. It's usually right around my birthday, so early September. Why not? Why not give the kid a shot? Because it's either he's going to come and play in Chicago or he's going to go home and train because the Iowa Cubs will be done. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that
playing really well.
Yeah, and even if he comes up and just pinch hits, right? Give him a couple reps, let him be around a team in a pennant chase. And obviously if he, performs when he gets the opportunities, then keep him in there. But I feel like this is kind of a win-win. You let him come up.
I feel like maybe he could have the 2015 Javi Baez.
Yeah. Yep. I was thinking, that or, even like Kyle Schwarber, I think was one of those guys that got the late call-ups. I don't think it can hurt anything. Now, say he comes up and goes hitless, that might do something for the psyche, but
maybe. But I think as a baseball player, just getting that opportunity, just even if let's say you go out there in a big moment and you strike out, at least you've been in that moment.
Exactly. Yep. It's so that when he does get called up next year, which is pretty inevitable, that it's not something brand new, and he
And
can kind of
also, I think Matt Shaw is going to be in triple or double A by the end of the year, which is amazing.
Yeah, he
He just got drafted
2 months ago, and he's playing really well. I think at one point he was hitting like almost 5 something.
Because he's in single A still right now.
Yeah, I think he's in high A. I think he's in South Bend, but I'm not. Don't quote me. Yeah, because he was playing second base tonight. Cubs have an influx of guys at shortstop, so some of those guys are having to play the outfield and second and short, which is a good thing. You know, having a surplus of shortstops is not a bad thing. So
the Myrtle Beach was it Myrtle Beach Pelicans?
Yep,
they are really good.
Yeah, and
consistently winning. Like, I don't know if it's the division or how they do it.
So most minor leagues, they do a first half and a second half winner, and then those teams go to the playoffs. And I want to say Myrtle Beach did qualify or has a good chance.
Yeah, I think they won the first half.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, definitely good things coming there. On the other side of town, we kind of already talked about the White Sox are just kind of abysmal, and it's
and they had fun for a day.
Yeah.
And now you're not going to want to watch this team the rest of the year.
Yeah.
What I did see was, and this is just as being a baseball fan, the at-bats that Luis Robert and Moncada had with the bases loaded, they didn't seem like they wanted to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Andrew Vaughn was also one of the outs. But it's like they just didn't seem like they wanted to play the game.
And it's funny because Robert hit that ball on Tuesday night that was absolutely crushed. And then
they give up a home run to Nick Madrigal, who I think was his fourth of his career.
Yeah, I like Nick Madrigal. I think very good shortstop, but not
he's playing well. I'm just saying he doesn't hit a lot of home runs.
Yep, exactly. White Sox sitting at 48-73. They're 14.5 out of the division, 18.5 out of the wild card. They are in Colorado. TA's suspension was reduced from 6 to 5 games. He'll start serving.
How does that even happen?
You go through an appeals process.
I understand that, but we're like, one less game.
Yeah. I know the Cubs have the Royals this weekend, so another winnable series. But you got to go. They don't play these games on paper.
They'll have Detroit next week.
I do think the Tigers are coming up. Yeah, I do think that's correct. I'm not sure.
You got to win every series if you're the Cubs.
Yep. Starting Monday, they are in Detroit for 3.
White Sox, hey, you get that picture of Luis Robert throwing his bat up in the air and shushing the crowd. You can live on that the rest of the year.
Exactly.
Next time you play the Brewers, please win.
Yeah, seriously, stop blowing games late. Yeah, did us no favors there. The Bears, big win in game 1 of the preseason. Game 2 this Saturday at the Colts.
Justin Fields, 3 for 3, 150 yards for 2 touchdowns.
And the ball actually traveled like 13 yards in the air on the
150 yards. I love Justin Fields. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. But that game wasn't like convincing that he was throwing the ball well.
Yeah. I think the one he threw for 60-something yards actually was caught 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
But it is exciting to see DJ Moore play well. We haven't had a wide receiver in a long time that can make plays like that. I'm not saying that the defense didn't probably break down or whatever, but it's nice to have an actual number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I really think it's going to help like Darnell Mooney. I'm worried about Claypool, but I think like a guy like Darnell Mooney can really benefit from having a guy like DJ Moore. He's not out there. Mooney is just not a number 1 wide receiver. He's a good wide receiver. He's just not the number 1. So with DJ Moore being there and the attention of their best safety or whatever is going to be on DJ Moore. So I think it's really going to help Mooney.
Unfortunately, I think that for you guys, I think Chase Claypool's best football is way behind him. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't help that he was he was hurt, but then like not hurt. I don't really understand what happened with that. Like right at the beginning of training camp, and you really haven't seen much from him. But
Yeah.
hopefully he plays well.
And for a young quarterback, obviously the Bears' offensive line is improved, but it's still not,
I saw something the other day, and I don't think people realize. I know I'm a Bears fan, but I don't people realize that how good of a trade that was that the Bears made. They potentially could have a top 5 pick in this upcoming draft because the Panthers could be not very good.
yeah. Yeah, I think
And with
it's
DJ Moore, and then they had the second round pick this year, and I think they have like a second round pick in 2 years. But it's for not needing what they picked anyways. I think it was. You look at it; it's a pretty good trade.
no, and as a Packers fan, but as someone who just loves football, I think it was like refreshing to see like that was the smart thing to do. You know what I mean?
They weren't going to get anybody better than DJ Moore from any other team.
Right. And it's not like you were going to go out there and take, Jackson Smith and Jigba at 2. That would have been like an old old Mark Trestman pick, to stretch and not make that trade. And it was the smart business decision to make, and the Bears did it. So, but I think
it makes you confident that they're making the right decisions.
Right. Now we could sit here in 10 years and say, holy cow, whatever, the Bears traded, this guy who ends up being, one of the best quarterbacks.
I mean, Bryce Young may be a great player or whatever, but I'm not that worried about that in the moment. Yeah. But you also look back and I hope he's going to be really good. But if for some reason Justin Fields doesn't become the quarterback that we want him to, then you're going to look back at it. But I think in the moment you had to make that trade.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think if you don't do that and say you draft Bryce Young or even CJ Stroud at that one, that I mean, you're really, really, trying to make a stretch there and restart over, with a young quarterback.
Yeah, we have Nathan Peterman, so what do we have backups already?
Exactly. You don't need much more than Nathan Peterman, man.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of him on Saturday because Justin Fields will not be playing.
I did see a quote from Eberflus. I think it was Eberflus, but said that he, didn't really like the way the offense looked today. But like he said, it's a young team, and you got 2 more preseason games to get it figured out. And I don't think realistically, we'll talk about this next week in our NFC preview. Like, I don't think it's crazy to think that like a good season for the Bears would be like 6 to 7 wins. You were the worst team in the NFL last year. Like, I know people want to come out and say, oh, this, the dark horse and they're going to go to the playoffs. But, like, realistically, be happy with 6 or 7 wins. You know what I mean?
I'm not even really looking at this season from, like, wins and losses, which, yeah, you want to win. But I just want to be convinced at the end of the year that Justin Fields is going to be that quarterback.
And I think it's even deeper than that. You also want to be convinced that you have the right coach, the right GM, that you have the right coordinators, that you
offensive line.
Exactly. And I think there's so much, but like I think the meatball thing on Twitter and all over the internet is like, oh, the Bears are gonna 10 wins, but like I just think that's. So
I also think that 7-8 wins could be competing for the division because I think that it's going to be a very competitive division.
Yeah, I agree. There's no
team that's like the Lions are probably odds-on favorite to win it. I would have to think.
No, I think they're still like plus.
The Vikings. The Vikings are first.
No. You said odds. I think they're still like plus 300 or plus 250 to win the division. But yeah, that's the thing. You've got 2 teams. The Lions haven't proved anything. The Vikings are the Vikings, and you never know with Kirk Cousins. The Packers are rebuilding with a new quarterback, young quarterback. I shouldn't say new. And then the Bears obviously are one of the youngest teams in the NFC. So it's completely up in the air. Completely.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. We'll get deeper into the NFC North next week. But let's jump in. The bowl schedule got released today, the in-season tournament. We've talked a little bit about, but man, I don't know. I've been pretty positive on this since the beginning. I'm very excited for the in-season tournament.
Oh yeah, me too. Now I'm getting. I was kind of like on it, but like I think in the middle of the year it's gonna be fun.
Yes. And like I get what your original argument for was like, oh, why are these guys going to care about an in-season tournament? But like at the end of the day, like they're professional athletes and they have that switch that me and you don't have, right? Like
Well, also at the end of the day, I'm gonna watch. It's gonna be more competitive basketball.
Yes, that's exactly it. To the surprise of no one, the Bulls did not get a Christmas Day game. Those got released today. So we got the Bucks and Knicks. That'll be a nice 11 a.m. start. Then Warriors, Nuggets, Celtics, Lakers. That's going to be a fun one. 76ers, Heat, and then Mavs, Suns at night. But the Bulls don't deserve a Christmas Day game.
I don't understand what this team's going to be. I don't even know. I know we're just talking about the schedule and the tournament, but to think about watching them for 82 games, that's going to be wild because, I mean, as of right now, it's pretty much going to be the same team as last year.
Pretty much, yeah. And here's, I know this is like super vague, but I could see this Bulls team finishing anywhere from 3rd in the East to 12th in the East. You know what I mean?
I don't think they have enough to be like the number 1 or 2 team.
Yeah. I don't think.
And really, truthfully, if they're top 5, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I agree. But I could also see it going very poorly, and Billy Donovan, unfortunately, could get fired if things, if the ship starts to sink. But
see, we were talking about how we really I feel like I'm trusting the Bears right now. Do not feel that same way about the Chicago Bears.
Bulls, you mean?
Bulls, I mean, sorry.
I don't know. I still we've had our discussions on Karnisovas so far, but like we also have to remember we're only in like year 4 of him as a GM, and they've gone to the playoffs twice in those. And look how bad the Bulls were before he got there. Like it's a slower rebuild than we probably want it to be is the problem. And they've gotten themselves into, so obviously I think things look a lot different if Lonzo Ball isn't in the situation he is.
Yeah.
And that's
does
not
suck though, because
that's not Arturo Karnisovas' fault. That's
it does suck because I like watching basketball, but it's gonna be tough to watch the Bulls.
Hopefully we're wrong.
At least hopefully it's fun.
Yep, exactly. Just be fun. Let's get to the playoffs and have something
to be competitive. That's all we gotta do. Let's just be competitive this year.
I don't think that's too much to ask for.
No.
But before we move on, we got to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. They have the best coffee around that you are going to find. They work with our guy, Dom Frederick, and of course, our left fielder, Ian Happ. So it's good quality stuff. They wouldn't drink bad coffee. You don't win gold gloves if you drink bad coffee, all right? And Ian Happ knows good coffee. So make sure you check out their website, connectroasters.com. Follow them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. Lots of good stuff happening over in Bourbonnais. Trust me, I'm not even a coffee guy, and I can tell you this is good quality stuff. Great
We've
people.
Seen the process. We've seen the process.
We know the people, we know the process. You just can't go wrong, man. So make sure you check out connectroasters.com or follow them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. So a big shout out to our partners at Connect Roasters. Make sure you go get you some. And let's go ahead and jump in. We know the NFL season is quickly approaching us, so we're going to do our preview here of the AFC. Who do we think are going to win the AFC divisions? So let's go ahead and we'll go east to west. So let's start off in the AFC East. Zach, who do you think? You think the Bills are still the pride of the AFC East, or do you think?
I think the Jets.
Yeah.
Jets. Jets. Aaron Rodgers. They just got Dalvin Cook. They're gonna be good.
I think they're going to be good, but I don't know.
Sauce Gardner. Awesome name.
I don't know if they're going to be good enough to take the Bills. Like, the Bills are still really damn good.
Yeah, they are good, but I think it'll be fun.
I do too. I also I think the Bills are going to win that division, but I think that's going to be like one of the more competitive divisions because I don't think the Dolphins are terrible.
No, but it's just wild that the Jets could be good.
Yeah, that is a weird thing that no one has said since like 2006. So the old butt fumble. So we're different there. I think the Bills are going to win that. You got the Jets. Let's go to the AFC North. The Bengals are the favorite in that division. Nearly every sports book has it in this order: Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers. Who do you like coming out of the AFC North?
I'm going Bengals. I think they're going to be pretty good. I just don't think the Ravens are going to be that good this year.
See, I'm going with the Ravens here, but that's just because I think that before Lamar got hurt last year, I thought they were the better team than the Bengals. And they're right there. He's got a new contract.
Unless Odell plays really well, he's going to have to really play well.
Yeah, but I think they've got a couple other pieces there too that they're going to be okay. And I don't know. I'm just not. Ever since the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, I mean, remember how poorly they started last year? They haven't really added much either. And
I also think that the AFC is going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of good quarterbacks.
That is true. That is true. I think if Lamar can stay healthy, I think that they have a really good shot to be the winner of that division. So I like them. And a lot of them have them at anywhere from plus 210 to plus 235 on differing sports books. Going to the AFC South, nearly every book has it in this order: Jags, Titans, Colts, Texans. Do you think the Jags are going to build off of last year and find themselves? They won a playoff game last year.
I do. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will win the division this year.
I know that's a sentence I don't think anybody's ever said, but yeah, I like the Jaguars too. I love Trevor Lawrence. I
also have half their offense on my one fantasy football team.
I've got Trevor Lawrence. I'm way too deep in my Trevor Lawrence stock because I think I have him as a starting quarterback is in like 3 of my 4 fantasy leagues. But no, I mean they're in nearly every sports book either minus. My other issue there is the rest of that division is awful.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The Titans, not good. Like, the Titans had their day. Derrick Henry's not the Derrick Henry he used to be. They still have Ryan Tannehill running the team. The Colts are going to be good in the future, I think. I like Anthony Richardson. I wish that, he did more at Florida when he was there.
The Titans got DeAndre Hopkins, though, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, a shell of what he formerly was.
But that was a big – they traded for him, right?
Yes, I think they did. I think it was a trade. I don't think it was a free agency thing. But, they could be good, but I still refuse to trust Ryan Tannehill. He's Ryan Tannehill. I don't think he's going to wake up on, September 11th and be a completely different quarterback than he has been the last 2 seasons. I don't know. I'm really drinking
a weird day. That was a weird day to bring up.
That's because that's the first day of the NFL season.
I was just going to say, I'm like –
No, I think that's the first NFL Sunday. But yeah, I'm really drinking the Kool-Aid on this Jaguars team. I like them a lot. Moving to the AFC West, our last one. Chiefs are the favorite on on every sports book. And then they all have Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. Do you think the Chiefs continue their dominance of the AFC West, Zach?
I do. I think the Chiefs are going to be really good again. And there's no way that at the end of this season, if they win the Super Bowl, they can't be like, oh, no one picked us. They're easily the best odds to win the division. I mean, I just don't see what could stop them.
Yeah, so I said the Jaguars are anywhere from 155 to 160. The Chiefs in their division are anywhere from 165 to minus 180 to win that.
Win the division, that's wild.
I've been sitting on this for over a year now. I think this is the year the Chargers are going to do it. I keep drinking the Justin Herbert Kool-Aid, And I like the Chargers. I think that they're going to finally figure it out. They showed some glimpses last year, and this is like a really, really pivotal prove-it year. Justin Herbert was better last year. Everybody kind of expected that soft, but like, let's see what you really got. You're in year 3 as a pro. Go do it now. But it's really hard to bet against the Chiefs. They're so good, man.
I'm sorry, but it's always weird seeing Mark Pryor as the pitching coach for the Dodgers.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But I would honestly like to see the Chargers win the division or make it competitive, but I just feel like the Chiefs are they're just so good.
Yeah,
I know it's not a hot take, really, but
I've been sitting on it for over, a year. I think I picked the Chargers to win the division last year, and it didn't work out. So I'm hoping that it finally works out in my favor, that I can finally get one right there. But I don't know. That one's a stretch. Most of them are like plus 300 for them to win the division. So we will get to the NFC preview next week. And then right before the NFL season, we will do who we think our playoff preview, our way far off playoff preview and awards and all that stuff. So make sure you tune into that. Let's jump into a little over under. Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Is it properly rated? I got 4 major sporting events for you this week, Zach. You tell me what you think. The Little League World Series. I had to bring this up because of a comment you made the other day.
Overrated.
No. What do you have against kids having fun playing baseball?
I just think it's overrated. It's like on ESPN for like 2 straight months.
Well, it's like 3 weeks. It's the regional finals, and then but it's also a time of the year where there's nothing going on. You'd rather watch freaking cup stacking than these kids enjoy.
Cup stacking is probably pretty awesome.
That's a horrible take. I will go properly rated. I don't think it's far enough to be underrated because of the coverage. Like you said, like ESPN, I could probably go it's almost 11 o'clock on a Thursday. I could probably go turn on a game right now. But I like the Little League World Series. It's fun. Now, I do get a little annoyed with kind of the pageantry of it. Oh, this kid hit this kid with a pitch, and then he walked over and like rubbed his shoulder. And that stuff. I'm like, we know he didn't do it on purpose.
It still should be competitive.
Yeah. And I get, like, you're playing to your audience there, but I don't know. I enjoy the Little League World Series. Should have let us gamble on it. I'd be all in for that. I know we can say men's or women's here, but the World Cup, overrated, underrated, or properly rated?
I'd say properly rated.
Yeah, I think it's a little overrated. I like the World Cup, but
it's only every 4 years, so it's not like it's a lot.
And I think that also comes from me as an American, right? If we were really good at soccer, I'd probably be a lot deeper into it. But I know we're not good enough to win it, so I don't I watch till the U.S.
Well, we should have in the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, you want to get all political here and talk about how disrespectful they are, and you're glad they lost, like everybody on Twitter is saying.
No, I'm mad they lost. I had them.
Oh yeah,
yeah. What an awful take.
Yeah, people are not happy. They're like, oh, they knelt for the anthem and they did this and this. They're not proud of their country, so they deserve to lose. I'm like, so now we're cheering for them to lose? I don't understand that. That's
no.
But hey, I think it's just slightly a little overrated until the men get really good at soccer.
Yeah, it's always fun if they make it to like the knockout rounds.
Yeah,
those are fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's
every 4 years. It makes it more enjoyable, I think.
And also, here's my other part of it is like FIFA is like one of the most corrupt organizations. There's no way that Qatar deserved a World Cup. Like, that is as crooked as it gets. But that's
welcome to major sports.
Yeah, that's fair. So the last 2 we got here, the Summer Olympics. Are you overrated, underrated, properly rated?
I'd say properly rated, but they're also just when they're on everywhere.
See, I think the Summer Olympics are almost getting a little bit of the Nickelback treatment. Like, I think they're.
Oh, I see.
It's slightly underrated. People are starting to poo-poo it a little bit, and I don't like that. I also talk about corrupt, but I don't know. I really enjoy the Summer Olympics, which brings me to my next one, which is the Winter Olympics, which I think are very overrated. I could
What?
care. Yeah, who cares?
What do
Figure
you? I think
skating.
they're better. I think that's better than the Summer
See,
Olympics.
this is what I'm talking about. The Nickelback treatment. No, the Summer Olympics are way better than the Winter Olympics.
I don't know. They got like hockey's pretty competitive. All like the snow sports are fun.
Give me basketball. Give me baseball.
The
Give me soccer. Like
racing, they got people who skate and do the racing.
speed skating.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you know what's also cool? Just regular running on a track.
No, I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's better on ice.
Hey, who's the fastest man to ever live?
I don't know.
Usain Bolt. Yeah, you knew the answer. All right. Who's the fastest speed skater to ever live? Exactly.
I didn't know who the
Nobody
fastest
knows.
person was.
Nobody knows. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say. I think they are overrated, but they're definitely like more. My wife and you are very similar, and they're like, "Well, I like the
No,
Olympics."
when the Winter Olympics, you're inside more.
Yeah, but you're inside to watch sports that aren't entertaining.
It's the summertime. I don't really want to sit around and watch all those.
I disagree. Give me track and field. What's the other? There's some.
I think the Olympics in general are overrated, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't disagree there, and especially
I've never really tuned into anything in the Olympics, like unless like back in the day when like Michael Phelps, that was pretty cool.
I will say 2016, and like to me, I guess
swimming in the Summer Olympics.
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
Yes,
that's insane how fast they do that.
The Summer Olympics have basketball. That's all you really need, and baseball.
Well,
that's all you really need. And
nowadays, it's not even that fun either because you don't even send like the best players anymore.
See, but I would argue that the basketball side is almost more entertaining now because
it's getting more competitive.
Exactly.
A lot. Because who did I see? Jordan Clarkson playing for.
He plays for the Philippines. His mother is Filipino, I believe.
Yeah, that'd be like that's cool. I mean, that other teams are. It's not like the USA is just winning every game by 25 anymore.
Yeah, trust me, like the Dream Team stuff is really cool to watch when their average victory was like 2 points. But like the Redeem
I saw something the other day that Kobe Bryant never lost playing for USA.
He only played in the one Olympics. He only played in 08.
Still undefeated.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's go ahead. Let's wrap things up. As always, we've got the TCF top 3. And we know the summer heat is coming. So we're going to do, I guess, more summer heat. But we've got the top 3 Gatorade flavors. I might have some on here that you're not going to agree with. Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
I'll go first.
All right.
It's the best for me. Cool Blue. I love Cool Blue.
I don't disagree.
Reminds me of like soccer practice.
Yeah. That's the light blue one, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to take mine, and this is a very polarizing pick, but this is easily my favorite Gatorade, and that's green apple. I love the green apple one. It's sour. It tastes see, because I don't really like red apples. I love green apples, and that one, it is perfect. So that I'll take with my first pick. My second pick, I'll take grape. Fierce grape is my second favorite. So I'm pretty happy with those two to start things off.
With my second pick, I'm going to take fruit punch.
Yeah, that's a staple.
That's a good one. I get the fruit punch. It feels like Gatorade Zeros now.
That is the one that is the most readily available. Every corner gas station.
Like the regular Gatorade, they sell the squeeze bottles.
Yeah, those are. You can take the top off of that squeeze bottle and put it on a half gallon of chocolate milk.
I never would have thought to do that. But
yeah,
I guess we'll have to try that sometime.
Yeah, we might. Maybe.
What a thing to know.
We will when we finish up our food review here. That's coming out in a couple weeks.
I would love to see you try and drink that.
You know me, man. I'm not a volume eater. I will throw up. No one wants to see that.
That's hilarious though that you knew that right off the bat. You know what? I'm gonna go orange. I'm a big fan of the orange. But it also felt like back in the day when like soccer and stuff, everyone had orange.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt like orange for a long time. Like I know fruit punch is probably their most popular flavor, but it did feel like there was a while where orange was definitely the
Yeah,
numero.
either you got fruit punch or you got orange. I love how it's just orange.
I am torn between my last pick. Give me. I'll do it. I'll stick true to myself. The cucumber lime one. I love the cucumber lime one.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be one of the worst picks ever.
It's actually according to sport.com, they have it ranked as the 6th best. I was between that and Glacier Cherry. The Glacier Cherry one is
two
incredible.
things that I would never want to like. I don't really want to drink green apple, and I don't want to drink cucumber.
No, cucumber lime. It doesn't taste just
no,
like
but that's cucumber's in the name.
But also, in the same breath, we've also established that you have raccoon taste. So
it is what it is.
You got to be a little adventurous. Glacier Cherry would have been my neck. Was the one I was fighting with there. The white.
Yeah, I had lemon lime. I think is good. You ever had the lemon lime in the glass bottles? Wow.
I don't know if I have. I'll be honest with you.
Or the cans. The cans of Gatorade are also very good.
Yep. How do you feel about Riptide Rush?
I have it on my list.
Yep.
I think that was. Did you take the Frost Glacier Freeze? That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one. But I think we can all agree there's no really such thing as a really bad Gatorade flavor.
Gatorade. All the flavors are pretty good. I mean, I would try every flavor.
Yeah, exactly. But that is it for us on episode 166. We thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check us out on Twitter at @typical_Chicago, Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like. For all the content in video form, go to YouTube and subscribe to the page there. Wherever you get your podcast, subscribe, rate, and review.
TikTok.
TikTok as well.
Pigoy puts out a lot of good videos on there.
And as I promised, we are in the process of our next food review. And I also have the one after this one already lined up. Met some great people at the Mendota Sweet Corn Fest that we're going to do a little collab with here. So we got to finish up one and then we'll be moving on to the next. So make sure you
just know people that it's rough for us on this one.
Yeah, you'll understand.
We could easily broke it down to less at one time, but it is what it is.
Yep, but you're going to want to see this one. But thanks again for joining us. You can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF, Zach at ZLiliaTCF, and Maddie couldn't make it in tonight, but give him a follow at schools_01.
He's getting ready for football season.
He is. Yep. He's studying up. He's getting ready for his NFC preview for next week. So we appreciate you joining us. This was episode 166 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.